I hate it. I really, really hate it. I hate it so much because we all use streaming. I use streaming, you use streaming, and if you don't use streaming right now, I promise you, you've at least used streaming once in your life to watch your favorite film, favorite movie, favorite TV show, just a TV show in general, just anything. Everyone has at least touched or known about streaming forever. I mean, Netflix and Hulu came around 2007, 2006, with Amazon Prime coming out in 2008, and then a lot of the bigger streamings that we know of now, which is like Disney Plus and HBO Max, they came out around 2019 and 2020, especially during the height of COVID, and that really made streaming what it is today, in my opinion. But I have to talk about streaming today because it's really a problem. And there's a lot of things that go into streaming that I want to talk about today in the short time frame of a video. So I'm going to try to keep it condensed as possible and just try to push through it. But we're going to be talking about it because it affects me and it affects you and it affects how streaming is going to be looking like in the next 5 years. So the first thing I want to talk about is Disney Plus. Now, Disney Plus, I'm just going to get off my chest here. Has been kind of annoying me. I've been recently rewatching the MCU movies, especially the Guardians of the Galaxies, Avengers, and all that stuff, and I've been noticing the aspect ratio change. Now, if you don't know what an aspect ratio is, I'll just put it on the screen right here. Basically, it's the black bars that you always see, and there's different versions. And now you can have different versions of aspect ratio based on the kind of film that you're making, I guess. You can use certain aspect ratios to show a different performance, to show different action. Aspect ratios most of the time are used to show a different side of storytelling in the film itself. And when it comes to aspect ratio changes, there are only really two ways on why you would change the aspect ratio as someone who makes movies. Number one is if it's a creative choice. If you just like the change of the aspect ratio during the film because it makes it cooler, it gives more depth in the film and the action sequences. A lot of the Avengers movies do that even when they're not shooting in an IMAX camera, which we'll get to that in a second. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, didn't use any IMAX cameras, but on the Disney Plus, it has an IMAX enhanced version that basically, when you were to watch it in the movie theater, the screen would look bigger. And a lot of that has to do with action scenes or just really big spectacles of a scene, and usually a lot of people just do that. They change the aspect ratio to show more, to bring more into the camera, like lens or the camera frame, and it does look appealing in a lot of ways. And now the second reason you would want to change an aspect ratio is not really something that you can control, and that's an IMAX camera. Now, IMAX cameras have really been popping off the last decade, and especially with Christopher Nolan, who uses them in every single film he's made, and especially his next film, The Odyssey, which is going to be all an IMAX camera. Now, if you have never been to an IMAX movie screen before, first of all, go, because it is huge, it's amazing, and it's just, oh, it's so good. Anyways, the second reason why an aspect ratio would change is because the IMAX camera is in frame now. Let's take Oppenheimer, for example, the movie that came out 2 years ago by Christopher Nolan. If you've seen the movie there, you might have noticed that a lot of scenes are in a wide screen or that aspect ratio with the black bars. That is because it's filmed with a regular camera. And then out of nowhere, it'll switch into a bigger frame and it will show more. And that's because the IMAX camera is being used. So usually most of the time when you see an aspect change, it's most of the time either a creative choice from the director or it's because it's an IMAX camera in use. There could be other ways, but those are really the only two ways that I would think a director would use the aspect ratio change, and also that's really the only main two I could find. So getting sidetracked, just needed to get a little history lesson for you what aspect ratios are. Disney Plus has the IMAX enhanced versions of the movies, basically meaning that whether it's an IMAX camera or not an IMAX camera, that movie has an aspect ratio change. I'm like, oh, interesting. So I looked into it, and if you know me, I love physical media. I have over 200 movies here, and you might think that's a lot, but there are people who have thousands. And I love the physical media because of a few things. One, it looks way better than 4K streaming. And you might say like, oh, well, I've never noticed it. I could never notice the change for it. And that's fair. Not a lot of people will notice it. But if you start watching so many more 4K movies on streaming than you do with disc, you might not see it as much. But for me, if I have the movie and I have it in 4K or especially Blu-ray, more so on the 4K because, God, I love 4K. The movie on the 4K disc just looks more crisp. I don't know how to explain it, but it just does. And there's a couple factors into that I'll just get quickly into that. It's a different bit rate exchange, especially with streaming, where streaming, you're streaming it. And with a disc, you're popping that disc into a 4K player or like your console that supports 4K movies, and it's directly from the disc and from the HDMI cable from the player that you're playing it from. And so it's a faster bit rate, it's a faster process, and a lot of times in streaming, it doesn't buffer. Now, sometimes the disc might scratch and you might have to take it out, but it doesn't do as much stopping or freezing as a streaming service does. And a lot of times when a streaming service, if you guys notice, when you watch a movie and it starts freezing up or slowing down, it'll drop pixels. It'll go from like the 4K that it was in to like a 480p quality, and the pixels are horrible. And you're like, oh, come on. With discs, you don't have to worry about that. And also, a lot of the times on discs, the sound design from the actual movie is so much better. And a lot of people that do their movies to discs, for one example, Christopher Nolan, he makes sure that you're seeing the movie as it's intended on the physical media. While as on streaming, you'll still have the same aspect ratio change, but it's just not the same crisp quality. So, just a little history lore about why I like 4K movies and collected them, because it's just better quality and all. And also, you own the movie. You will own the movie forever, and any streaming service that cancels, or because there have been a lot that have been saying that, well, you're not actually buying the movie, you're owning the rights to watch the movie. And that streaming service could cancel and you could never get that movie back that you bought, or that TV show that you bought. With 4K discs, you can have them forever. Now, obviously, people are going to argue, well, I don't want to buy $25, $30 movie when I can just pay the $15, $20 a month to watch it on streaming, which is 100% true. That is what streaming is for. But now we're getting into the territory where it's becoming a little bit of a problem. Disney Plus, I'm just going to start out, I have a gripe with, because these IMAX enhanced ratio aspect changes are only for the streaming. So any 4K, I believe, which one do I have? So this is a Blu-ray of Avengers Infinity War. And it is the same as the streaming, but not quite. It basically doesn't have the aspect ratio changes. It only stays in one aspect ratio, and I believe it's 239 of the aspect ratio that it just keeps in, and I found that really annoying. A lot of people pay so much for streaming, and obviously that's a feature on Disney, but Disney-owned discs are not doing the same transfer of the ratio aspect as they are on the discs. Every other streaming does it. The streaming service, if the movie on another streaming service has an aspect ratio change, you can bet your ass that it's the same on the disc, if not better. Or if not, it might not even be on streaming at all, and it will have the aspect ratio change on disc. But Disney, for some odd reason, doesn't have that. It says the aspect ratio changes on Disney Plus due to IMAX enhanced versions are not typically mirrored on the standard DVD or Blu-ray versions of the same movie. Disney Plus offers the IMAX enhanced format, which expands the aspect ratio to show more picture in certain scenes. So like I said, with the reasons why someone or a director would want to change aspect ratios, it's only on Disney Plus. So the Avengers movie that I have, which even though it's a Blu-ray, sometimes on the 4K streaming, the Blu-ray might look better because it might not freeze up. The bitrate exchange is faster with it's just better from the HDMI processing to the TV, and it's way better than streaming most of the time. And that's why I like physical media. So I just needed to get off my chest on Disney Plus, because I find that really fucking annoying that they only have it for Disney Plus. And like, if I wanted to get the 4K of Avengers, I would not be able to see it as the director intended it with the aspect ratio. It's only on the streaming. And now you're saying to yourself, well, Gian, you have Disney Plus streaming. Why are you complaining? Well, it's because I think after what I'm about to tell you, I'm going to be so done with streaming in the next few years, and you better be too, because it's going to get only worse. Now, this is from the No Film School website that I kind of go to every now and then, and a lot of other sites have talked about this. This happened in May 20th, 2025, and basically Netflix is now saying that They're going to be pushing people to their ad-based service because it's cheap and brings a ton of revenue for them. But now, in 2026, Netflix is going to start to use AI-generated ads. They'll play in the middle of episodes or movies or anytime the user presses pause and wants to restart. They're going to create generative AI ads in the streaming. That's fucking insane. We are really resorting to not making actual ads anymore and doing it generatively with AI. Now, I don't know what these AI's ads are going to be. If I have to guess, it's probably going to either be of two things. One, it's just going to be Netflix-based ads, or two, it's going to be ads for upcoming films that they're going to be showing. I don't know what types of ads they show on Netflix, because I, first of all, don't have Netflix anymore, even though I'm going to have to get it again because Stranger Things Season 5 comes out, and fuck streaming for that, but that's a whole nother gripe I have. But I just never had ads playing, and I would always pay the $25 a month, which is crazy because it used to be $7.99. And don't worry, streaming services, if you think it's expensive now, the fact that they have been upping the price every year, it's going to keep going. Netflix is going to be over $30 soon. It's going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if it reaches $40 by the end of 2030. It's going to be insane. But anyways, the twist here is that the ads will be tailored to the person, and Netflix will use generative AI for custom content targeting at each user. It's going to know what you watch, it's going to know what you like, and create an AI ad based on that. Does no one see a problem with that? How weird that is, and how awful that is for the time that we're living in? It's really dystopian. We're really creating ads based on what we watch through AI, and it's bad. Netflix announced that its ad-supported plan now has 94 million global subscribers, up 34%. And I have to say, I know the reason for that, because people don't want to be paying $25 a month. They would rather get the cheapest version. Now, for me, I like to have 4K quality and no ads, and that's just me. And the one tier that I used to have was the $25 a month one. And so that's a reason why I haven't been using Netflix, because it's just going to be doing this shit. And it's really horrible. And so that's not really new information, but what I'm about to tell you right now is brand new information-ish that came out last week, and it's bad. It's bad. Amazon Prime is going to be coming out with a new software or streaming thing called Showrunner, an AI-powered streaming service, launches in alpha this week. And this was posted in July 30th, so it's literally coming. It's coming soon. It could be here by the time this video is up. And basically what this does is Fable, a startup design tools to generate animated TV shows from scratch, is launching an AI-powered streaming service this week. This service is called Showrunner. It will allow subscribers to generate scenes, view content created by Fable's in-house AI-generated animated shows, and even insert themselves into the animations they generate. Showrunner is launching an alpha, and based on Fable's website, you'll primarily interact with it through the company's Discord to start. Per Variety, subscribers will pay anywhere from $10 to $20 a month for credits that can be exchanged for the ability to generate new animated scenes. The word scenes is key here. While Fable is launching with a couple of distinct animated shows, they're really more like collections of worlds and characters that subscribers can use to create new scenes. So basically, this new streaming service, they're not real shows, I guess, in a sense. It's basically just shows that people can use the AI to help create scenes. And the key word here is scenes. Now, you're probably saying, well, that's nothing. If it's just going to be, generating scenes, it's not full films. Well, get ready, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to start to bring on the fact that they can create AI with scenes and say, we can make money from this. Why don't we just make them create whole films or whole TV shows? Now, a lot of people might have a debate about this, and I can see how people will debate about this. If I really wanted to, here's the website, right? Here's the website for Showrunner. And, I'm obviously not going to join, but it's Bring Your Stories to Life, watch and make episodes on Discord. You can basically do everything, and, these are the medias that cover it. And it's just really crazy that we're getting to this point where people can create AI generated scenes. Now, it's just scenes, like I said, it's not films and or full length episodes, but it might start to become like that. And so, going back to what I was saying, a lot of people might argue, well, it's just scenes. What if I just wanted to create a stupid scene and I don't like AI and I don't want to create AI films, but I want to create an AI scene of my friend getting demolished by a giant Easter bunny? And I'm like, okay, cool, you can do that, but watch what's going to happen in the next year or so. They're going to start having people create full-on movies. And this is the type of area where I'm concerned about. Obviously, this is small and it's starting up, but this is going to evolve into something worse. AI keeps evolving. And to say, now if you're going to say, well, Gian, this is probably where AI is going to stop. You can't predict the future of AI. No, I can't. But I can tell you what AI has done over the past years, and I can assure you that it's going to get better and better to the point where they want more money. People will want more money, and they're like, well, maybe we can just have people make AI-generated films. That is going to be a big stopping point in a lot of AI stuff. And when we get to that point where streaming services will create or make you create AI-powered films of your own without any creative power, it's going to really kind of put a damper on people who actually make stuff, who actually make films, who actually make TV shows, and it's just going to become a real big problem. And this is launching soon. And so it's really puzzling to me that people are going to be okay with this. And it's $10 to $20 a month. That's a lot of money. And imagine you have all these other streaming services that you pay for, or maybe you just don't, which fair enough, but you want to use this streaming service, which is crazy. But it's really insane to me how we're going towards this realm of AI-powered streaming. And like I said with Netflix, I know that's old news, but Netflix is soon going to start to use generative AI ads. And I don't like it. It's not going to be good. And, it's only going to sprawl out into worse things. It's going to just evolve into bigger things. And then, like I said, people are going to start to make AI-generated movies, and there's just going to be no one to stop them. This is something I just needed to talk about. Streaming, if you have streaming, I'm not mad at you. Nowhere am I mad at you. I use streaming. So it's not even that it's a problem for me. It's just the problem that where streaming is going. And streaming in itself is way too fucking expensive. I mean, I already talked about it in the beginning, but $7.99 used to be Netflix. Now the top tier is like $25. And it's insane. And I believe it was last year or the turn to 23 to 24 where all the streaming services just bumped up their prices. And it's going to become chaos. And I still believe that by 2030, Netflix will be $35. I can promise you that. It might even be sooner. It'll be $35 because of all this content that they're trying to push out. And you never know by the time 2030 comes, what if a show is generative AI? What if they make a show like BoJack Horseman, which is one of my favorite shows of all time, so Netflix still has points on that one, but a show like that and it's AI, I would feel deceived. I would feel like horrible that I'm watching it, and it's just, I don't know what I'm going to do. I really just needed to talk about that. I know this video kind of just spattered all over streaming and why I don't like streaming right now, but I mean, it's becoming a problem. So if you guys agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. And what you think AI is going to be doing for streaming, if it could be good, if it could be bad. I know that some people are okay with an AI search engine in streaming, which is fine. If you have like an AI search engine to search something, let's say like I wanted to, watch a certain show but can't remember the name of it, I type it in, the AI believes that it's this show. Honestly, that would be okay. That would be the perfect use for AI in streaming. To generate AI ads or generate a full show or movie is complete barnacles. It's complete rubbish, and I just had to talk about it. So thank you guys for watching. That's about it. This Friday is my first ever short film, Limina. I'm very excited. It's coming out Friday. So stick around for that one. So that's pretty much it. Sorry for the ranting and the ramble. This video is going to be everywhere. But it's just the decay of streaming, and it's only going to get worse from here. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.